Hello YouTube and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host, Novus Gorvius. And this is my first, official video besides my introduction to the channel. And for this video I will be talking about a movie that I was excited for and was following for 2 years. And that is Slender Man, based on a famous creepypasta turned video game series turned YouTube series. So I'll start off by how I got into the whole Slender Man thing in the first place. It started off I first heard of Slender Man in, I believe it was like 2011 or something. My friend was, actually it was 2012 when Slender D Pages came out. My friend Connor was obsessed with the game and would never stop talking about it. And eventually he showed me gameplay of Slender Woods, and he was talking about Sanatorium and Elementary and all the Slenderman Shadows maps. And I didn't think it was scary at first, but then I got to play Slender the 8 Pages and it terrified me. And to date it's still pretty terrifying. And then I played Slender the Arrival, and that was just as bad, if not worse in terms of scare factor. So when they announced they were doing a Slender Man movie in 2016, it came out of the blue really for me. So I was excited to see where they would go, since there was so much material to adapt from. And sadly this movie suffered a lot due to the real life incidents, the attempted murders and the suicide pacts made by various teenage girls, and all of this. It was really crazy. Because Slender Man started off just as a Photoshop character, and then he made his way to... Then when Slender Mansion came out, everyone just became obsessed with this mansion, and now everyone makes these fan fictions, all these creepypastas there, and Slender Man really got out of control, and the movie got controversy and stuff around it for everything. And this movie actually suffered due to the controversy of all of this stabbing. A lot was deleted of the final movie from the trailers, and apparently the whole ending was changed. In the movie you only see half of what the actual ending was, and the final product was not originally what they were making. So with that out of the way, I'll actually get into talking about the movie now. It centers around 4 characters, 4 teenage girls: Chloe, Ren, Haley and Katie. Katie, which is actually a reference to Kate the Chaser from Slender the Arrival, they watch a video about Slender Man, and Katie goes missing, and Slender Man goes after each of the girls individually. And as it goes on, it's revealed that this girl called Alison Riley, who goes by the name Alley Cat, created this Slender Man video, and she was being used by Slender Man, which you don't actually see her in the movie. But you do see her at the end of the first trailer, so I'm guessing she was meant to get proxified by Slender Man, but they took that out, and it's a shame. They also took out a lot of the character deaths, which really affected the movie, but also made the ending a bit more satisfying. Now, the acting in the movie itself it's okay. I mean, the girls are really believable. They acted as I'd expect teenage girls to act. The parents, they were a bit bland. They didn't really... There was no real reason for them to be there, and their acting wasn't anything worth talking about, we'll say. By far the best out of them, I think, was Haley, just because I liked the character, and she just seems the most interesting, especially when she sacrifices herself to save her sister. The dialogue in the movie, a lot of it is a bit cliche at some points, and even the way they introduce Slender Man is a bit lazy, and it does feel a bit rushed. It's just the movie starts off and it's oh hey, there's someone Slender Man, and I literally turned to Connor and we just sat there like this for the first few minutes. But believe it or not, by the time the movie ended, we actually loved this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I've seen it 3 times and I want to see it a 4th time. The story, a lot of people hate, but I feel was really enjoyable. It was interesting as they try to explain Slender Man's origins. He's a bioelectric being. They tied in the Shadow People creepypasta, which is based off the sleep paralysis. and they put Slender Man as like one of those people. He's a bioelectric being, which is referencing Slender Haunt, Mark Slender. He's like the spirit of the forest or something. Seems to be what they're suggesting, and his gateway is a tree or something. Slender Man hides. This was really creepy, and I like that they actually explain what he does with the bodies. He hides the bodies of his victims inside trees and forests, and that's how the forests keep getting bigger, which is creepy in the sense that there's so many trees and forests, and he's been in so many places as you see throughout the movie. He's just killed so many people and taken so many away. The story for that was interesting, but again, it was all cut short and was very disappointing. In the sense that like we didn't get to fully explore more, and I feel like there could have been a sequel, but they won't make it because this film won't do well at the box office, unfortunately. The what was I gonna say? The soundtrack is really good. It's very memorable, and the end credit song is, in my opinion, absolutely fantastic. The I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there a second when I went on to the soundtrack. The visuals in this film, which I was meant to say, they are a bit weird, and at times Slenderman's tentacles do look really fake. But again, I don't really know what to say about it. The budget was 10 million, so I assumed they would have had enough to make it look better, but I guess it was just the whole lighting of the film. The ending, which in my opinion is fantastic. When Slenderman turns into a spider and chases Haley, it sends goosebumps up my spine. It was just so like very well done. But the CGI does look weird when Slenderman is running. I don't really know what to say about that. That aside, the film is really short and it could have been longer. They could have explained more about the characters. They could have explain more about what happens Katie, because she just goes missing. You don't really see what happens to her, and it seems to suggest that she survived. Chloe killed herself in the trailer. That doesn't make it into the movie, and so the last time you see her in the movie she is alive, but the ending mentions that she's dead, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Ren's death was horrifying. It was a cool reference to Slender the Arrival, and it just showed how ruthless Slenderman is. Haley's death by turning into a tree was very satisfying, and I felt really sad in a way. So yeah, that's really my input on Slenderman. I really enjoyed the film. There's a lot to love. It does have its disappointments. It does have a lot of cliches, unfortunately. And it does drift away from Slenderman lore a bit. But it does explain. It does have a very solid story, I feel. And so because of that, I feel it's definitely not worth the hate it's getting, and it's definitely doesn't deserve the hate it gets. 7% on Rotten Tomatoes is definitely not. This film should at least have a 20, I feel. And it's just doing an injustice, and the fact that like everyone's still obsessed with the murders and associates it with Slenderman is very sad and tragic, but it really affects this film, and that's a shame. So to cut this short, I give Slenderman a 8 out of 10. Go see it, it's worth your time.